Hi there, it's Diane again. It's part 2. This is all about the Quick Start Guide. A couple of days ago, sent you an email with your username and password, and along with that, another email labeled Day 1 with a few other additional files for you to print out. One of them was a hard copy of the Quick Start Guide. So you may have printed one up, or if you've already received your box, in your box you've got the green folder, and inside the green folder you've got the document labeled the Quick Start Guide. So one of these it's the same thing. This is just one that you've maybe printed from your computer, and this is the one in the green folder. So today I'm going to go over the Quick Start Guide in detail. This might be a lot of information for you to be able to take all at once. So I wanted you to be able to have this video so that way if it's needing clarification on any food group, that this would be available to you. So if you would go ahead and open this up to page 3 with me. We're going to go ahead and start right here in these boxes. This is all about your lean choices. As you know, during the program, you're eating